Hey guys, what's up? Something weird is going on with my blood parrot and my purple rose queen. I haven't done many updates on my purple rose queen cichlid, and you can see him here in the corner. What's happening is the blood parrot is actually digging a hole like they're going to breed, or something's going on here. Let me change the lights here a little bit so I can get some lighting over here. And I just want to show you guys, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if the blood parrot is able to breed with the purple rose queen, but it'll kind of be interesting to see what happens. But anyways, today's video is actually on the OB Peacock. All right, so here's the deal. People have been bugging at me to do a video on the OB Peacock for so long. And the reason I put it off for so long is because there's so much drama and controversy when it comes to this fish, because it's a hybrid and people believe like so passionately that hybrids are like supposed to be on this planet. You either are for them or you're against them, and it's just a really kind of a sketchy video to do because, you know, tank mates and just it's an utter nightmare when it comes to these fish, because this is one of those oddball fish that I can't tell you has specific tank mates, because every OB Peacock individually has a different personality, and they can either be complete nut jobs or they can just completely get along in your African tank just fine. Before I get too into depth, I want to give a huge shout out to David Reno for letting me use his awesome footage. I specifically found his tanks that he was showing in the Facebook groups, and I beelined right to him and I said, hey man, I got to get some videos of your OBs because your African setups are absolutely ridiculous, and there is a lot to learn from setups like this. And what was cool is, you know, a lot of people when I do videos of their tanks are like, hey man, give my Instagram shout out, give my YouTube a shout out, but David was just like, hey man, I'm purely a hobbyist. I don't want anything in return. I just love fish tanks. And he told me his life story. He's been keeping fish since he was young, and it was just the most naturalist story, and I absolutely adore that about fish keeping because that's like the roots of it. But I've been blabbing for 2 minutes here. Let's talk about some of his setups on how he gets these OB Peacocks and his African cichlid tanks in general to absolutely flourish and get them to popping coloration and just everything all in around. I could tell David was a super long-term experienced fish keeper because he was posting videos of super diligent feeding, and that's a huge deal when it comes to African cichlids because they will commonly get bloat, and overfeeding is a huge problem because it seems like they're always freaking hungry and you want to feed them as a fish keeper to just make them happy, but that's not the best. Like I was saying before, there's tons of controversy regarding what tank mates you should keep OB Peacocks with. Some people say they should be kept with these Africans and not those Africans, but people have success with that vice versa. So to be realistic, I'm not going to tell you which route you should go, just because it's almost like feeling out, you know, this industry for yourself. Get on the Facebook groups, ask around who is having success keeping them with who, and just know that every OB Peacock has its own individual personality, and the parameters of your tank and how they are set up is a huge deal. Like how many fish you have, how large the fish are, how often you feed them, the decorations in which they can swim around, and hiding spots. There's just so many variations that really depend on how aggressive your Africans are going to be together and mixing the different types of Africans. So I'm sorry I'm not much help. So I'm sorry I couldn't be more help, but this is one of those really scary fish that you don't want to give too much advice on because it's absolutely, they're nuts, if I'm being completely honest. They are nut jobs in itself. And a lot of times people are so excited to get OB Peacocks and they have to go back to the fish store. So don't feel guilty if you have to bring your fish back to the fish store. I even myself feel guilty about having that happen, but with Africans, the fish stores know that is supposed to happen, especially with OB Peacocks. But anyways, guys, what I thought was really brilliant about David's setups was he actually had these weird pipes on the sides of his fish tanks that were floating at the top of the surface. Or no, they were inside the water, but they were on both sides. And it was actually for sick African cichlids to swim up in for protection, essentially. So you got to take a look at this. All right, so here's how this works. What he does is he gets a PVC pipe and he attaches some suction cups to it and puts it near the surface of the water. And what happens is when Africans get stressed out, they look for a hiding spot near the surface, like in this case right here. This is actually a clown loach up here, but it's really common for other fish to get stressed out too. And I think it's a super brilliant idea. And I'm actually going to be doing another video on how to build these because it's an awesome idea, because a lot of fish go to the surface when they are stressed out and feeling sick. All right, guys, so that wraps up taking care of OB peacocks and some information on them. I know it was pretty vague, but I knew going into making this video, I was gonna have to be pretty vague, and it's almost like you're gonna have your shield up when keeping OB peacocks because there's gonna be a lot of curveballs thrown at you. But anyways, that cool pipe idea, by the way, that David did, I'm going to be doing a separate video on because I feel like it deserves an entire video on how to build it, install it, what it's for, etc. So I'll throw a link in the description box to that video if you are interested in viewing that. I want to give David a huge shout out for the cool footage of the OB peacocks, and everything's great, guys. Lots of updates. I'm sorry I haven't been doing videos as much. It's because I've been working in the shop. I'm obsessed with getting that built out, and there'll be more updates on that coming too. So, all right, guys, hit up the comments. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, all that fancy stuff. Woo-hoo.